I just saw the finale of Daredevil Born Again Season 2, and let me ask you one question. What do you expect from the finale of a superhero show where you have a hero, a villain? Do you expect them to fight towards the end of a show? And do you expect the hero to win, to stand there triumphantly claiming their victory? Or if you expect that show to be a good one, then do you expect that particular show to have a really good fight sequence? Do you expect good story, good choreography? This show certainly, I can't say, didn't have most of those things. It's different. I can't really say that it's traditionally what you would expect, but does that really mean that it's not good? It's difficult to say because it's not something that I'm used to. If I see something like Infinity War, if I see something like Captain America Civil War, I would say, hell yeah, let's go. But this is something completely different. I would understand the dynamic between Batman versus Joker. Like, Batman doesn't want to off Joker, or he doesn't want to literally murder anyone. That's his no kill rule. That's what he lives by. And that's the same rule that Daredevil have in this show. And honestly, it's kind of difficult to just stick by Daredevil because even though I know he's right, in this episode we see Kingpin walk out of his courtroom and he just bludgeons a couple of protesters. Yes, they were protesters, but they were also innocent civilians. He rolled through them like a dumpster truck through a big block of cheese, I guess. Some of the scenes you will see, they are honestly really brutal. Like, he takes one of the guy and he just plants him in the pillar of a wall, breaking his back and the pillar as well. And honestly, it's really difficult to justify letting Kingpin go after all that he's done. Even though I know in my heart of hearts that Daredevil is right, that murdering someone is not the answer. I believe that. Like, I think that different people have different answer to this question. Of course, like, there are people out there that would say that robbers should be hanged in prisons. Like, people have different tolerance for punishment. And that's really the crux of what I'm trying to talk about over here. Did Kingpin deserve to walk away scot-free to give up New York? And in a way, it might seem like freedom to us, but the way the show portrays it, it kind of feels like that Kingpin is standing in his own prison. His character is established in a way that him being in a cell looking at a wall, that's kind of freeing. But when we see Kingpin towards the end of this episode, he's standing on a beach, staring, and he doesn't look like he's at peace. And that's kind of the point, maybe, that he's gotten his punishment. At the beginning of this video, I said that a typical superhero show would have a hero battling a villain. That doesn't happen in this show. The only face-off that Matt Murdock and Kingpin have is in the courtroom. And don't get me wrong, that's a really good scene. In fact, half of this episode is Matt Murdock and Kingpin in a courtroom, and I'm not one for watching these types of shows like courtrooms and dramas and such. But watching that whole sequence was really great. The way the arguments were made and the way the intensity were in those moments, it gripped me. And that's all I can say. Show where you have a superhero and a supervillain punching one another. It was different. They did that this time around in a court of law. I wasn't disappointed. Towards the end of this episode, I was kind of expecting something typical to happen, but no. In fact, quite the opposite happened. Matt Murdock is standing there as Daredevil with the people of New York dressed as Daredevil right there supporting him behind Daredevil, and the people get agitated and they start rushing after Kingpin, and Kingpin takes down a couple of people, but there's a big mob of people. I don't think that even a guy like Kingpin stands a chance. And what does Matt do? He doesn't go there to drop in a couple of punches himself. He goes there and he rescues Kingpin. That's interesting to me because I really wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting a hero to stand there and plead with the villain to just give up, to accept a deal where he can walk away scot free. And the way the whole thing is done, Matt Murdock really puts himself in a more difficult position than Kingpin just so he can bring him down. Like, to just bring him down, he has to reveal his identity to the courtroom. He has his Iron Man moment, if you will. He stands there and says, I'm Daredevil. From that moment on, I guess his life was over. But he had to do that just to bring Kingpin down. But there are other ways of doing things, I guess. If we go through Karen Page's route, she really thinks that things could have been done differently, as in Matt Murdock should off Kingpin. I mean, he had the chance in the last episode. They fought like hell, and Matt had the chance, but he still let him go. There were moments that just had me gripped, and there were moments where I was like, yeah, it could have been done better. If you watch the Netflix era, and I hate to harp on that whole thing, but there was a sense of like, hell yeah. But this time around, like, the story is just far more mature. It's like complicated and realistic. Not to say that the Netflix version wasn't realistic, but this story just takes itself so seriously. Like, yeah, you can do that, but you're also a superhero show, so maybe don't do that, I guess. But yeah, a lot happened in this episode. If I can give you a brief breakdown, the first whole half of the episode was just about Daredevil in a court of law trying to take down Wilson's Fisk, and it felt great. It actually felt like Matt Murdock had really good points. Like, he would just stand there, talk, and the other lawyer would talk, and Matt had really good comebacks for those, and I absolutely appreciate that. And then the latter half of this episode is just protests, I guess, people rising and marching, and Wilson Fisk losing it and walking out in corridors. And no, Wilson Fisk and Matt Murdock are not in the same corridor, but they're fighting completely different people. Matt is fighting with the AVTF guys, and Wilson Fisk is fighting with average people. And fighting is a far stretch of a word. He's like literally mowing them down, and then they get out of their corridors, and Matt is standing there with the people, and Wilson Fisk is standing at the top, and people rush to him, and Matt and Jessica Jones are able to stop them. Matt is able to convince Wilson Fisk to take the deal. And towards the end of the episode, Matt gets arrested. Of course, who didn't see that coming? Revealing his identity. Definitely a big move. But I also kind of expected that Matt would just kind of disappear afterwards. But he didn't. He just lets himself be arrested. I guess he is a lawyer because I guess Karen is going to be representing him in the next season. So it's definitely going to be interesting. And speaking of interesting things, what about Punisher? I kept expecting him to show up anytime, but no. He just did not show up. I was like, yup, you're at the last stretch. This is the last episode. He is showing up. Like, he was a big part of the last season. And then he just disappears. Like, the AVTVF guys kidnap him, throw him in the same jail as the rest of the vigilantes, and then where did he go? Like, you couldn't have even have made a passing suggestion that maybe he broke out, maybe he was just that badass like the rest of the vigilantes were able to stay confined, but oh no, they couldn't keep Frank Castle down. He broke free. Like, not even a mention of that. So is he imprisoned? Is he in jail? Or did he break free? What happened? Like, you just forget about that. When he gets arrested in the first season, it feels like it's building up to something good because this is corrupt police officer who are embodying what Frank Castle is, right? I expected that in the next season, Frank would do something that would change the minds of these corrupt police officers who think that they're exacting vengeance and being like Punisher. But none of that happened. Wilson Fisk is gone, his AVTF task force is gone, and Punisher never showed up to the party. That is just really disappointing. Luke Cage shows up towards the end of the show. That's great, but it's a cameo. Like, okay, he's back. Great. Thanks for letting us know. Jessica Jones, like, I was hoping for some good action sequences, but god damn it, like I remember watching Jessica Jones's couple of first seasons in the Netflix era where they have shoestring budget. I think there was better drama, better acting, and better action in those first few seasons than whatever they were able to do in this one. I can't help but remember that one scene where Jessica Jones jumps towards a couple of protesters to stop them from going towards Wilson Fisk. Like she just yoinks and jumps, and it feels like it's either CGI or it's like with the strings or whatever. It looks cheesy as hell. Other than that, without letting this video meander for too long, if I had to sum up this whole season, I would say that the good parts were really good, but there was a lot of drag as well. Like, I can't honestly say that it felt satisfying. I was hoping for the second season of Daredevil to be really good and to be able to blow me away, because this would be the chance for the original showrunners to just come back and be able to do whatever they wanted, but I guess that didn't really happen. So yeah, like again, if I have to sum up this whole season, I would say that I am underwhelmed. But regardless, I'm looking forward to the next one. And the only good thing that I can say about this season is that each of the episodes were released on a weekly basis. That's really great. Do that. More of that, please. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And as always, it's time for a goodbye.